Bonjour everyone, welcome to another diecast showcase. So today we're going to be checking out my recent finds. Got a lot of interesting stuff. Um, Hit a couple thrift stores and managed to pick up a few cool castings. And also hit up my local Toys R Us that I've received some new Silver Series from Hot Wheels, so Silverline Series or however they're called. So yeah, we'll check those out and see what we got. So as opposed to what I normally do, I'm going to start off with the carded stuff first. So the two series in question that they received at my Toys R Us would be first and foremost the Hot Wagon series from Hot Wheels. So it's this one here. Picked up 4 out of 5 of these. They were all available on the pegs, but I did not go for the Audi because I already have 2 mainline, 1 loose, 1 carded, plus the premium out of Fast Wagons. So decided to forego on getting the Audi RS6 in red since, well, basically I don't really like the design of wheels it has on it for that kind of casting. So, and I have a red mainline of it. So, yeah. So, basically, first one we're going to be checking out is going to be the Chevy Nova wagon. And I did purposely pick up one that had a busted bubble. I try and do this, as I've mentioned before, for cars that I don't mind cracking open and that I don't necessarily want to keep on card, so as to make sure that there's a rotation, basically, you know. People tend to leave these and they just sit on the pegs and nobody buys them, whereas I don't really mind if this thing's cracked, honestly, because we're going to crack it open. So, let's get this out of the blister. Alright, and here we are. So a nice metal-based casting. So really nice little Nova wagon. You know, everybody loves a nice wagon, so yeah. The application of the chrome on the rear wheel here is not the best from what I can see, but overall, very nice car, nice casting, nice paint. Love green cars, and it's got all the white accents, so that works for me. It's 2 favorite colors for cars. Nice front details. Fuchsar wheels look really good on this. They're staggered. And we've got some nice rear details too. So, very nice piece. Do like that. Black interior. Open window. And I don't know if there's something in the trunk here. I think there is. What is in the trunk? There's something in there. I think it's just luggage. I think there's luggage in the back. I'm not exactly sure. Either way, doesn't really matter. It's a nice casting. Definitely like this casting a lot. So it looks great in semi-premium. Love the metal base and great wheel setup. Can't complain. Can't complain. Put this one here. Next up, we'll follow suit with the Pontiac GTO 66. So 64 Nova, 66 GTO, and this is a custom wagon because, well, obviously it's a 2-door. So, well, they didn't make 2-door GTO wagons. So this one also has a cracked bubble. So you know what that means. I'm going to crack this one open too. This is also a metal base casting. Very nice with the matte black. The matte white deco. GTO badge on the back. This one's got a puppy in the trunk, a red puppy. Got the custom center exit dual exhaust in the back. Nice badging, nice details for the lights. Got a little plate there on the back too. GTO. That's very cool. Yeah, there we go. And front looks awesome. This is my favorite front end for a GTO, I think. 66, 67. I find they look really good front end wise. And another very nice wagon. Very cool. All right, so Now we're going to look at the stuff we're going to leave carded. My two, well, actually, I think that number 2 that I wanted out of the set was really the Chevelle wagon. Number 3 would be this really cool Volvo 850 Estate with the Bilstein livery. Pretty cool because I'm starting to have a nice little selection of Bilstein liveried cars, so this will make a very nice addition. I never say no to Volvo wagon. I think I've got pretty much all the variations of this. It's a metal-based car too. It's very heavy. And there you go. So 850 Estate. Technically it's 855 because all the wagon variants of Volvos, example the 240 would be the 245, 740 would be a 745, so on and so forth. So yeah, and I like these kind of like reversed 5-spoke, making them concave instead of convex with a little step lip. Definitely cool. Nice looking gray wheels. Obviously tampos are pretty much just as good as you would find on the yellow premium variation in the Fast Wagons premium series, which I also have. So this one's staying on card, super heavy, and kind of reminiscent of the first release that kind of mocks the Omega livery from the real race car, the BTCC race car from the 96 season, I believe. So yeah, very cool. So that's going to stay on card. We're going to put that one in the back here. Surprisingly enough, I did manage to also pick up the Bluebird wagon, which obviously for the most part is the harder one to get because, you know, this one I believe also has a metal base because it's very heavy. So pretty cool. All 4 have metal bases, and I believe the Audi also has a metal base. But yeah, it's cool to finally get a wagon with a livery, but you know, other than what you'd find in, like, example, the first Nissan box set or things like that. Basically, they haven't made a whole lot of premiums of these, and the early ones that they made when the premiums started, if we're talking about car culture, they actually didn't have always the front and rear tampos, so that's very cool. I like the cream white, pearl white. Yeah, it's pearl white pretty much. A little bit of a BRE stripe there, the Yokohama livery, and again, those same really cool wheels, but in chrome, copper / bronze. Very nice piece. So happy with that. Kind of cool that found that, and I found the one for the neon speeders as well. So the 510s seemingly are maybe losing a little bit traction in my area. Next up, the other series that they had was this one here. So this is the Hot Wheels J Import series. I was out for 3 out of the 5. I did find 2 of the 3 I wanted. So first one, obviously the Hakosuka, the 2000 GTX Skyline. This one, I believe, is also, besides the one in Team Transport, the only one that I have with front and rear decos from the factory. Although I've detailed a couple of these, so. But yeah, again, same wheels on the 510. Also has a Yokohama livery, which is really cool. Has a little JDM Legends badge on the front fender. Number 15. It's very cool. I like this. I like this a lot. I like the deco. Like the wheels. Fits really well. Love the exposed all oil cooler, front mounted oil cooler on this casting. It's very, very cool. And the last one I did manage to pick up was the little Starlet, which is great because I was looking for it. This is the one I was most anticipating, simply because I wanted to crack it open, because I do have the one from the Toyota set from a couple years ago, 2 years ago. And now I have this semi-premium that I get to crack open. And I believe this is also a metal base. Let's check it out just to make sure. Nice. Yeah, it is a metal base. I think. Is it? Is it a metal base? Geez, I'm not sure. I think it is. I think it's a metal base because it's pretty heavy. It's pretty weighty for such a tiny little car. So you got the 8mm version of those reverse 5-spokes, which is great. Little starlet stripe on the side. You got the riveted fender flares. The wing on top there. Nice rear tampo. Nice front tampo work. Little stripe also on the hood to match the sides. Very, very nice little car. These are really cool. Rear wheel drive hatchbacks. People love modifying them. So we cracked 3 out of the 6 that I picked up, which is good. And now we'll get into the loose castings that I managed to pick up from the thrift store. So first one, I'm not actually going to open. I actually just kept them in the bag, but I found this really cool. Basically, I do like my older cars. Basically, you know, the vintage stuff from the, you know, normally I don't really venture a whole lot older than the 40s. You know, even if I do have late 1920s, early to mid 1930s hot rods and whatnot from Hot Wheels. This is something that I am newly venturing in, and is just by chance stumbled upon this little grab bag. Look at this, guys. 6 very, very, very old timer cars. I mean, we're talking about cars from the 1900s and 1910s in this bag. Like literally borderline horseless carriages as opposed to actual cars. But they're really cool because they are all complete. They have all their accessories. You know, they're mostly plastic. The colored bodies in the middle are metal, but all the rest is all plastic. So I mean, these are pretty brittle. I remember seeing these in stores, and I think you could order them through like my grandmother had Reader's Digest, and I think you could order these from Reader's Digest if I'm not mistaken. They're kind of reminiscent of the models of yesteryear from Matchbox, but of a slightly inferior quality, i.e. more plastic. I'll show you the other side as well, because there's cool details on these. Like you have the spare tires basically mounted on the side of some. You got this little green one here that's like a little two-door runabout, whereas the other ones are mostly sedans. So yeah, I find these are kind of cool. And they're not super detailed, but they've got details where they matter. So, you know. And I paid a whopping $6.25 Canadians, no tax for these. So it comes up to barely over $1 a car, which I find is pretty reasonable for the condition they're in. No chips, no broken lights, no missing spare tires, no missing tops or anything like that. So I don't know. Tell me what you think. I find they're pretty cool. We'll put this over here. Yeah, so Lucy's. Let's check out some Lucy's. I'm just gonna forward these a little bit here so they don't start rolling away. Okay, first car. I'm gonna go by brand, I think. So I'm gonna start, since we have a trio of Hot Wheels in front. We'll start with the Hot Wheels. So one that's a little bit more battered, but still very cool. I finally managed to pick up the this SLK convertible. You know, definitely missing paint. I did straighten out the axles a little bit as well, because the rear one was kind of iffy. But this casting is not the best in proportion, nor is it true 164, but I do like the fact that it has lens lights. This yellow version, the yellow is actually the color of the close to final product concept car that was shown in one of the auto salons in Europe. Hardtop convertible. This is it, and you do have the little compressor badge here to signify this would be SLK 230K. So supercharged 2.3 liter 4-cylinder. Sounded quite agricultural, but you know, I always found it was a pretty good looking car personally. And this casting is definitely metal on metal, so I mean, I like it. And you see the copyright in 1997. Well, that is the year of the launch of the model, so it makes a lot of sense. And yeah, made in India. Kind kind of cool. So yeah, you got the 5-dot wheels, which are the better looking wheel variation for this, because it did also come with the tri-spokes, which really don't match that well. But yeah, this could be a cool resto project. You never know, I might also order, was thinking of ordering this car, but in silver on card as well. We'll see if I still decide to do that now that I found this one. I might not. We'll see. Either way, it's pretty solid. It rolls well and whatnot, so that's cool. Next, Hot Wheels. Let's get back to the JDM a little bit, briefly. I did find this cool color variation of the Lancer Evo 10. Not sure which series it's from, or if it's a standalone, if it's a multi-pack exclusive or whatnot. It's got a few dings and dents and scrapes, but overall pretty good condition. I love this aqua color. Very nice. Lens lights as well, which is something I didn't necessarily realize, because I think the first version of this that I picked up was the Advan version. And since the body's black, well, you don't really notice on the get-go that the lights are lensed, but here you can definitely see they are very well. So we've got a little scrape on the corner of that rear wing. And this wheel got munched up just a tiny bit here, but besides that, you know, fairly clean, fairly clean. And this casting's kind of growing on me, so I'm guessing it's not the last variation I add to the collection, honestly. Last Hot Wheels, actually no, second to last Hot Wheels that I have to show you is a casting I did not have before. And I was kind of excited with the new, I don't know what it's called, the Global set or something like that, that's coming out in car culture. It has a premium version of this car that I'm definitely looking forward to acquire, but in the meantime, I found this weird variation of the VW Brasilia, Brazilian specific car. It's definitely rear engined, rear drive, air cooled, Volkswagen Beetle basically, running gear, but with a kind of cooler hatchback design, more modern, cooler hatchback design. So wheels are obviously weird, as you can see. You got like brown bronze wheels with the orange chrome for the PR5 spokes, kind of like a rally livery. Again, not sure out of which series this is out of, but I mean, would matches pretty well in my opinion to the Lancer Evo X. Get the dual exhaust in the back there. Pretty cool. I like it. I like it. I'm just happy to have this casting finally in the collection. So put it right there. Yeah, now it's the last Hot Wheels, definitely. And this is a kind of a classic casting of a very classic car. We are talking about the Jaguar D-Type. So this would be the short nose version with the wing on the back. The first versions of this did not have that wing on the back, and they decided to add it because of the driver's head. As you can see, not a whole lot of windscreen on this thing. It actually caused turbulence, which made it slightly unstable at higher speeds, so they added that to make sure that that was more streamlined, and it did win a whole bunch of races in the 50s. So yeah, this one has a really cool deco, very classic deco, number 4. Meatball on the front and rear, with the 2 front stripes. They often use this in Le Mans if they had several cars running the same team with the same color to identify which drive it was quickly, if they were going fast, too fast to read the number. And this also has lensed fronts, which is very cool. Nothing much on the rear. As you can see, it's not perfect, but oh gosh, definitely not perfect. At least it dropped on the metal on metal car. That is not perfect either. So, but yeah, definitely a cool piece. And again, metal on metal. You can see there's a little bit of exhaust detail there. It's actually part of the interior. It is kind of like that slightly pearlescent gray. So Jaguar D-Type. And copyright, do we have a copyright date? We don't even. This is an older casting, obviously. So, but yeah, very cool. Definitely cool. Got some motorsport vibes a little bit. Some modified car vibes. I like it. All right, now we're going to jump into a kind of a oddball. We've got this Matchbox first gen Dodge Dakota. It's a licensed car, but oh, look at those spotlights, eh? Yeah, you're gonna see in the dark with that thing. Cool wheels, different wheels for sure. And as you can see here, this is a 2002 copyright metal on plastic, manufactured for McDonald's Corporation. Pretty cool. Definitely, I'm not a fan of the worn out old stickers. It's even got the Matchbox stickers here. I don't know if these came on a sheet separate and you could just add them or not, but I'm probably going to eventually remove them, despite them being pretty period. I don't think there's an interior on this thing because the windows are really dark. But yeah, overall, you know, licensed Dodge Dakota, first gen, not a casting I have. Hey, why not? Now we're going to be jumping into some how about we do some Maistos? I think Maistos are a good idea. I think definitely Maistos are a good idea. All right, first Maisto that we have found is this really cool last gen Celica. And as opposed to the Motormax casting of this one is a little tiny bit smaller in scale. It's got these horrendous tri-spoke wheels that look like nuke signs, and it actually has the facelift bumper and the ground effects kit that first came out on the Panasonic special edition of this car. And Panasonic was the one of the sponsors in the Celebrity One Make race, where celebrities race these. So they decided to do Panasonic Special Edition with the big wing, the more aggressive bumper, side skirts, you know, and let us not forget, under the hood, if this is a GTS model, which is it? Yeah, it is actually. It's got the GTS badge on the back, so this is a 2ZZ car, 2ZZ car, or ZZ, whichever you prefer. You know, it's got the same 1.8 liter VVTi engine as they put in the second gen of the Lotus Elise. So yeah, this thing sings to 8,200 RPM. Fortunately, VVTi kicks in at about 6,800, so you got very little time to enjoy the awesome high-strung 4-pot goodness. And yeah, look at this. This is actually true 1/64th scale, which is great. Great stuff. So probably a future custom. Another Maisto that I picked up would be actually one that I was eyeing for a while. It came out a while ago, and I never actually was able to locate it, be it in a single or a multi-pack. So now I have one. It's not in a perfect condition, but I'm really happy. This is almost the first gen Chrysler 300. It's actually a 300B from 1956. And to me, this is actually the car that is the genesis of what we know as muscle cars. Very successful in NASCAR, the original 300, and still a great looking car. And it had kind of like a luxury vibe. Look how good this thing looks slammed. So again, you know, the wheels are not the best. It is a Maisto mainline, but the cast is really good. A few flea bites, a little bit of details here and there. You know, some bright work for the bumpers and the side split line there. A little bit of badging and some silver for the front grille and lights. Well, it used to be some for the bumper. That's gonna need some touching up there, but should be pretty easy to complement the lines of the car. And again, These have no interior, Celica or the 300, but or the Dakota, but still, it's a very cool casting. And last Maisto I picked up would be this really cool older Maisto Lamborghini Diablo in the Viola SC30 color. So the 30th anniversary Countach lilac color. It's a little bit dirty, got a crack in the windscreen, but it's a wingless Diablo, and the cast details are really good. The proportion are good, and I mean these wheels, they remind me of the old Matchbox wheels from the early 80s, even late 70s maybe, more early 80s. But I'm growing to like this generation of Maisto a lot, because looking back, they were much cheaper than an equivalent Hot Wheels. But today, with everything being cheapified, they actually are of pretty good quality, and they really stand the test of time. Plus, I mean, it has suspension and really nice paint color too. It needs a clean, but it's got a really nice paint color. You got the badge. It's a licensed product. Pretty cool. And to offset that, I actually managed to pick up some off-brand, made-in-China casts. I believe, I'm not even sure which brand they are. If you do know, please let me know in the comments. But another Diablo, this is a different brand, different casting, very similar, wingless. This one's red, obviously. It's very well cast. It has mirrors, this one, and the vents are actually cut out in the rear. It's not the best because, you see straight through the casting. Obviously, there's no engine in there, but it's got the white interior, very clear glass. This one does not have cracks anywhere. It's got a couple flea bites here and there, biggest one being right here on the rear fender, but it's in pretty darn good condition overall. So, 2 Diablos in one take. The red one's a little bit smaller from what I can see. And the cool thing is, I managed to pick up a bunch of cars from this same brand. Other one that I picked up, staying in the Lamborghini theme, had this kind of like, I'd say late 70s to late 70s to early 80s Countach. Based on the body, it does have the flares, but it does not have the stakes on the bottom. It does have the big wing that's plastic. These are all nondescript bases, the textured bases that I remember as a kid for the El Cheapo cars that you can get a bunch for very little money. It's definitely not the best cast, definitely not. Stance is really off, but at the same time it's a Countach, and it's still my poster car from my youth, and black with the tan interior just works so well. So that's pretty interesting. I did also get my first complete casting of this very special car, to me at least. Planning on getting another as well soon, but the Peugeot 405 T16. So this was a rally raid car based on the Peugeot 405, which Hot Wheels did produce with using a Corgi casting. So it's a rally raid car, and there is a very special video on YouTube that's been around probably for 15 years of the hill climb. What's the name? The name of that circuit? The either Pikes Peak hill climb, where one of these is being driven at 11/10 up the hill before it was fully paved. And I don't remember the name of the rally driver, but god darn, I'm cojones of steel. This one's pretty interesting. It has absolutely no body details, but it's very intricate on the inside. And the windows have like the little openings, little vents for the driver. And you've got a little bit of details that you can see because this was rear engined or rear mid engined, 4-cylinder turbo, and it was all-wheel drive as well. So this is obviously not the tarmac spec. Obviously, again, the wheels are those 10 dot weird looking wheels, and it's not the best if we're talking about wheel setup. See, we're straight through there, which, yeah, no engine right in the front because the engine's in there. But still, it's a cool car. And this is not like the like Evo and Evo 2 versions with a huge aero and, you know, the unlimited class hill climb spec front lip. This is really more the rally raid spec that ran in Paris-Dakar with the camel livery as well as the Peugeot Sport livery. So yeah, definitely a very iconic and cool car. Not the best casting of it, but it's very nice to have. Because I have an old school Maisto of the same era as that Diablo, basically, but it's missing the wing and it's all busted up. Well, it's not, it's scraped up a little bit. Now, I did also find from this same brand again a really cool Z31 300ZX or Fairlady Z, whichever you prefer. This is a 300ZX because it's got left-hand drive. Red on tan, very good color combo. It's got the little vent here, which indicates it's a turbo. So with the VG30 ET, single overhead cam turbo engine, had about 215 horsepower. Not the lightest of cars, but it's light by today's standards. And yeah, it's got the early rear lights, not very detailed, but yeah, it's got the early rear lights as opposed to the later light bar that did the whole length of the rear fascia. And the front is actually quite well cast. Well, it's a little bit sloppy around where the turn indicators would be, but yeah, I can't say no to Z31. It's such a cool car. Let's put it right next to the Skyline here. We've got the two emergency vehicles also that I managed to pick up. So we've got the fire department Fox body Ford LTD, pretty, you know, nondescript and whatnot, and same brand if I base myself off the wheels, but definitely a later casting since it no longer has a textured bottom and it's feels much cheaper. This will be a nice addition because I do have the a very similar Yachtming that is in a airport security livery, so this fire department one's going to look great. And last but not least, I did find a single vintage Welly, which is this nice car right here. I believe this is a Dodge Monaco. I could be off, but I think it's a Dodge Monaco from like the mid 70s. So this one's got the number 9, the Red Cross, and the, well, actually it looks more like a Switzerland, round Switzerland flag, but whatever. And it's got the rescue on the back. So it's definitely seen better days, but I mean, this is straight out of the 80s if we're talking about the cast, for a car that's straight out of the 70s, and the unmistakable Welly wheels, which inspired themselves from the Tomica Sport wheels. So I like it. I find it's really cool. Nice molding details on the front fascia there. And the rear is much more simple, let's just say. Yeah, so that's the small cars, and I have one more thing to show you, one more pickup that I made. This is a little bit more unusual, and it's not something that I tend to pick up necessarily very often. And I prefer telling you right away, it is big, very, well, long at least. I managed to pick up an older school Maisto, and this would be from the era of where Maisto and Jada were the two big players if we're talking about, you know, the slammed cars and everything like that. It's not mint or perfect, but it's pretty clean. We are talking about this gigantic thing. A 1/24th scale Lincoln Navigator limousine. Holy moly, it doesn't even fit in the frame. Well, whatever, it doesn't matter. So yeah, it's part of the Players series, as indicated by this logo. It's got opening doors, front and rear. It does have a broken front bumper, as you can see here, and a little piece missing off the side step here. But other than that, all the paint is there, and yeah, it's got opening features, the detailed interior. Same for the rear. Obviously, it's going to be more detailed. You have the wet bar in the back, the seats and all that, and it's pretty well done. And this is actually one that has a light and sound feature. You can install batteries right here. It takes 4 AA batteries, and you can see that it is indeed a Maisto. There we go. And it is 1/24th scale, or so they say, but I think this is bigger than smaller than 1/24th scale. Or it might be closer to true 1/24th scale than the Jadas were. But at the end of the day, I'm not so sure it's actually 1/24th. I think it's smaller than 1/24th. Because even my true 1/24ths, they seem a little bit larger compared to this thing, if we're talking about not the overall length, obviously, but just the overall, I don't know. But it's really cool. It's a cool era of Maisto that is almost forgotten. And they kind of had to redo themselves on the premium front, whereas Jada has pretty much just kept doing their thing and is still doing their thing pretty much. They adapted to the times, I guess, a little bit better. But nevertheless, you know, cool finds. Oh, and did I mention the dub wheels with the actual big brakes in the back? And they're actually Brembo calipers. Yeah, so basically, there you go. Hope you enjoyed. This is a longer one today, but you know, found a lot of stuff, a lot of cool stuff, in my opinion, at least. So tell me what was your favorite on all these. Yeah, like, share, subscribe. I will catch you on the next one. Take care.